All right, guys, we're over here at OTTER for the 2025 show. We're gonna be walking by some booths to check out new products, new releases, maybe some new gravel bikes. But let's go ahead and get into it and see what they got in Wheeling over at OTTER. We are over here at the brand new Van Rysel booth, and they have here in front of us one of the most competitive Van Rysel RCR F aero road bikes out here on the market. With the price point of being $8,000, they really do a extremely good job at giving you a lot of bang for the buck. You have the brand new XKD OTTER Di2 12-speed power meter on there as well, and they spec it out really well with the Swiss side 62.5s front and rear. But the RCR F is bringing back the aero bikes for this generation, and I'm here for it. They're utilizing much more of the UCI rule for that head tube area. They put on this massive bar and stem combination that literally, they said, saves 2.5 watts over 45 kilometers an hour over their previous RCR Pro cockpit. So not only are they looking for changes in the front of the cockpit of the bicycle, but also on the handlebar itself. And then they add a massive bottom rack area down here for this RCR F model. I mean, you can mistake this bike for a TT bike if you wanted to. Change out the bars, put some air bars. That's how aerodynamic it is with the change on there. They came out with a aero tire on there as well to go ahead and just complete the whole entire look of the bicycle. But I think for $8,000, it is extremely competitive in terms of whatever kind of value you're getting on there. They have another model, which is their RCR Pro, which is not the full-on aero model of it. That's $7,800. It's only $200 cheaper, but it's literally, it's very close in price point. But I mean, you're getting so much more value with this bicycle right here if you needed the aero model of it. But Van Rysel is doing some incredible things. They're having some IBDs happen over here in the United States, and they are becoming a little bit more popular. As you guys probably heard, they are partnering with REI, which is a department store, to launch a little bit more of a cheaper price point gravel bikes. So these, I believe, will stay separate from those and just be more direct to IBDs. But yeah, they are a world tour bike at a little bit more of a competitive price point. And just to show you guys, this is the Pro Team model bike for the Van Rysel RCR F. This is the team color bike, but a very similar setup here. They don't sell this bar separately, but this only comes spec OEM on the RCR F. And also the bicycle, they said that RCR F is going to be a total of 13 watts faster over the RCR Pro model. So if you are on the flats, if you are on the ground, the RCR F is going to be the faster aero bike in general. But this whole entire bike, as you guys see in front of me, for a complete aero bike and all this carbon fiber on here and massive 62.5 wheels, only weighs in at 16 pounds and 53 ounces for a size medium, which is very, very lightweight for a full aero bike. So that's their fully spec'd race bike for 12 grand, already ahead of the competition. You're getting Dura-Ace Di2, you're getting a power meter dual side on there, you're getting Swiss side wheels as well with the hidden nipples for better aerodynamics, the DT180 hubs, the ceramic bearings, the aero tires. I mean, it is extremely nice. And if you want to, let's say you're not in the aero realm, you can go to their RCR Pro Dura-Ace team bike. This bike is $11,600, and they have a little bit more of a snappier punch to them, a little bit more responsive, and it picks up a little bit quicker. 15 pounds, 21 ounces, and it thing retails for $11,600. But you can see the weights aren't that different from the full aero bike to that bicycle right there. Again, you're getting the full Dura-Ace Di2, the power meter, and then their own proprietary one-piece bar and stem by Van Rysel, which is really cool. So yeah, I think Van Rysel is doing an extremely good job at offering competitive price point bikes out here, and they have a really good looking bike. Very simple branding, nice bold lettering on the down tube. I think is very good. I mean, like, look at this one. This is their RCR Pro, which the Pro is their best carbon. $11,400. SRAM red power meter, Zip 353 NSWs, those are 4,000 wheels. One piece bar and stem, $11,400 is a really extremely good price. A lot of companies out there start at 14 grand for that thing. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think, and we'll go check out another booth. And over here seems to be a little bit of a play on for the RCR F as well. This is their 105 Di2 model, which comes in at a little bit cheaper. The price I got for them was around $6,999, so 7 grand, but that is still a very competitive price point. And they still said this thing weighs in right around 16.5, 17 pounds in a size medium, and it feels relatively light for what it is. So again, I think we're seeing more and more people go away from that do-it-all bicycle. You're starting to see more and more people make a specific aero bike and a climbing bike with aero properties. QN Vismalisa bike, I'm sorry, QN Cervelo, QN Colnago, QN Van Rysel, QN other bikes like that. You're definitely starting to see that trend go away from that do-it-all bicycle. So I think Van Rysel is doing a really good job at getting ahead of this, and they make a really solid looking bicycle. So next stop over here, we're at the Giant booth where they have a ton of new bikes on display. I finally get to get my hands on the TCR, the 2025. It has been a nightmare for me to find, but of course, one of the biggest bike shows out here has the brand new integrated cables on here. I'm super happy to see these bikes go in person. I think these bikes go for around $12,500 out the box. And again, Giant, I've always talked about, I raved and rant about them. I really do like their bikes for the price they offer. They really do seem to set the bar for the price points out there in the market. The one thing I do wish they would get rid of is the ISP. I wish they would just put a normal C-mast on here, normal C-post. I know it saves weight. I know it makes it a little bit stiff in that area, but that would be one thing I like to do. Also, this is my first time seeing their brand new Kadex wheels in person, and these wheels are stupid light. These are the Kadex 40s, I believe, and they are a hookless wheel, yes, but they are completely stupid lightweight. I think 1,240 grams or 1,250 grams. Full carbon fiber hub, carbon fiber spokes, and they have their own Kadex Race 720C hookless tire in there as well. But a very nice lightweight wheel set. I believe Chris over the Nero show has had the opportunity to go ahead and ride that. So it is a extremely good bike. Like if you're looking at top end bikes, obviously budget will always kind of come into play. So it definitely puts them as a front runner in terms of what you get for that offer. And then going over here, they have another bike on display, their Propel. Again, being able to see these bikes in person is a nice change of pace because I love the Giant. The Propel, I think, is one of the top 3 aero bikes, in my opinion, for the bicycle industry. I love the lines of it. I love the looks of it. Again, one thing that I would knock is just the ISP. It works. It's, you know, if you got to get a fit for resale and stuff like that, I just wish they made a normal C-post. It'd be much easier for consumers. But once it's set, it's set. But man, the Propel is an extremely good looking bike. And again, I think this bike retails for $12,750. And you're getting a full Dura-Ace Di2 power meter. Their Kadex 50 millimeter wheel set on here. Again, very lightweight wheels and a hookless rim on here. And then you have their own Propel stem and bar, which I love this stem. I think it showcases a lot of the nicer Sprinter stems out there on the market, but very clean looking lines there for the Giant lineup. And it wouldn't be Sea Otter if I didn't show you some kind of gravel stuff. Obviously, we're gonna get more into it later on down the road, but this is their kind of newish Giant Revolt series. They revamped this bicycle lineup, making it a pretty affordable price point for a gravel bike. $3,000 gives you a full carbon fiber integrated frame, so they tucked in the cables now to make it a little more aerodynamic. They added some frame storage, some nice integrated frame storage on here, and then they beefed up the down tube as well to make it a little more robust. But you're getting a 12-speed 1x12 SRAM Apex group set with a brand name like that, and also the Giant dropper or a dropper post included on the bicycle as well. It's a really solid price point for a gravel bike if you want to get into it. They do also have the ability to change it out to a long or short travel for the wheelbase. Longer will just give you a little bit more of a sturdy or a steady ride feel. Short, it's gonna be a little bit more twitchy, but it will change up the tire size of how much you can put in there. I was talking to the Giant guy over here, and he basically said that he has a 700 by 50 on his rear, and he can get about a thumb back there. So he said it was a good enough clearance there, so all you big tire fanboys out there will be able to do that. But on to the next booth. So of course we had to come check out the Canyon site over here. They have all their beautiful bikes on display of the brand new My Canyon Aero Road setup. I mean, the paint jobs really absolutely look amazing in person. They don't do it justice online, but I think they did a phenomenal job with that. If you guys do not know the My Custom Ways, you guys can choose what you want to do to customize your bike and bar. You can choose your stem length. Obviously the handlebars collapse in how you want. You can choose your wheel set if you like, from Zip to DT Swiss. You can change out your saddle if you like, and also your colorway. So you do have a couple different options with a little bit more of a price point on there, but there are a ton of stuff. So if you want the Zip stuff with the red, it looks great. It's a great combo. But if you didn't want the Zip stuff, you want to do a little bit more classic with a DT Swiss 1100 arc and a Shimano Dura-Ace on this beautiful red color, you have the ability to do so as well. And you can also choose out if you want a 3D printed saddle or a regular saddle on there as well. So there are a ton of different options you can choose from. But definitely the talk of the town, I think for myself at least, is Matthew Vanderpool's 2024 UCI Gravel World Champion bike. The Grail of their, it's an absolute beautiful color. I mean, it is a bicycle that I want to ride and I would love to own. For some reason, the gum wall to the tire combination looks insanely good. The wheels, I don't know what they are. They're unbranded, they're unmarked. If I had to take a crack at it, I would assume that, I mean, the hubs say DT Swiss, but the rims, I have no idea what they are. So we will have to figure that out. But look at the paint job on there. The paint job looks insane. The bars make you want to ride gravel, even if you can't. The flare on there, I want that flare on my road bike. It looks good being pro. So they definitely did a good job, and the bicycle performed the way it's supposed to. But that is one hell of a good looking gravel bike. But yeah, so this is the stop at the Canyon booth, just showing off some of their options they have over here. And a lot of good options for sure. They have some demo programs, everything. Let's go ahead and check out what else we can find out here. So of course we had to stop by the booth over here at Elite Wheels because they have one of their brand new wheels that just launched, their brand new Drive 2. They completely changed this wheel set. This is in their 50 depth. They are still one of the best priced wheels out on the market at being at $1,300. They changed their carbon spokes, made them a little bit thicker. They changed the internals on here to be 23 millimeters. The externals 31. A lot of people are liking that. They still have a hook on here, which is always very nice. And then also, what's up there, bud?
A hook? What's a hook?
Yeah, exactly. Hookless only. Hold on. But yeah, sorry about that. I had a rude YouTuber interrupt me. But like I said, Drive just launched these wheel sets, and like I said, they did an amazing job at the nice wider internals, the wider externals, the redesigned spokes, and they even made the spokes go through the hubs now, so there's no more worry about detensioning. But the main store to me, the big selling point of this is a brand new hub design. I want to show you guys how it sounds underneath here because they did a phenomenal job. It's a kinetic hub drive design that's a 50-tooth ratchet. But look how this thing sounds. I mean, the engagement on there is phenomenal and it feels really good. It sounds very thocky on there. And then the way this thing looks right here, I'll show you guys. So the way this works is these paws come out together and this just sits on top of here like so. So it's a much better contact on there, and it can also free float when not being used, which is really good. And a better spring as well, so a little bit more engagement on there. But they did a phenomenal job with that hub. I really like it. You don't see a lot of companies going out of the way. They usually just take the easy road and just make a DT Swiss replica, but that's a really good design hub that I'm really, really happy about. And then also another big feature here is that Elite is stepping into the space of one-piece bar and stem combos, and it's a really good looking bar as well. This is their Cruiser. Their Cruiser handlebar. Retail is $330, but they have a ton of different spacer designs you can go into. If you have an SLA to Trek, they have a whole pamphlet on what works with what spacers. But a very nice bar and stem. This right here is a 380 by 110. The reach on it is about an 80, and it also has a flare. You can see right here, look at it. So you have all these different who they make their proprietary headset spacers for if you want to go ahead and use it. But not only that, it's 290 grams for the size of it. But the one thing I do like about this is the flare option. You're seeing more and more companies add that flare to the drops, and you need that. I like the stability of the drop flare for sprinting, for attacking, whatever the case might be, and then also being very comfortable in the 38s on the drops, or the uppers. But anyways, that's a very nice bar as well. That will be over on their website too. And you guys can always use the code GC15 to get a better checkout there. But thanks to Elite Wheels, thank you to you guys, and we'll see them later on. So next on the agenda, I made my way over to the Kadex booth to see some of their hookless wheels, and then they have a new saddle on the market that is a little bit different. This is their AMP 3D. It retails for $450, and it comes in at a pretty lightweight of about 147 grams. But the main thing difference is that it's not a typical 3D printed padding that everyone's used to, that circular 3D printed mold that you kind of press up and down. No, they changed it to a little bit different molding, so that way it has a little bit more support in the areas you need to. And let's say it's a little bit more of a fluid support. So if you were to go ahead and hit a bump or hit a pothole, your body doesn't just go straight up and down, it flows with it down and up. So it's able to go ahead and support it in that way. So they did a really good job of designing the saddle. And just to make it not some little foam piece that just goes up and down, it's a little bit more abrasive than that, which is really cool. Full carbon fiber rails, full carbon fiber body. And it looks really nice. I like the look of it. I'm starting to get tired of seeing those same circular 3D printed saddles over and over again. So it doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look out there. It looks like it fits the bike perfectly, and they did a good job on it. Other things I have are obviously their Kadex wheels and their Kadex tires. Kadex one-piece bar and stem, which is cool. This is a full crazy bike over here, but this is their one-piece bar and stem by Kadex, which is crazy lightweight, nice wide spring stem, good width as well, but they are a very nice combination on there. And the tires, you know, they said not to show this, but I'm gonna show it to you guys anyways. They have those cotton tires over there. Those are what the pros have been riding for a while, and we'll have to see what goes on with those. But there's one more thing I want to show you over here. And the one thing I was going to show you, but there's a bunch of friggin' influencers there because I can't stand them. But those are the Kadex 40s with their one-piece hub and carbon fiber spokes, which I showed off before. But those have a 22.8 inner width and then a 29 outer width. They weigh 1,249 grams, crazy lightweight, and they're a phenomenal wheel set over there. So they did a, it's one of the best Western brand options out there in the market for a very lightweight with a nice wide internal in there, which is always good. But let's go ahead and see and carry on what else I have on at this show today. Oh, it's SRAM. We're over here at the SRAM booth here, and they have one of the best looking road bikes I've seen with this setup. The brand new SRAM Red XPLR going with the 1x-Aero setup, which I think a ton more people are going to definitely take for consideration. We're seeing more and more road bikes come out with UDH compatible hangers, and to have a 56 tooth in the front and have the gear range of a 10x46, I believe, in the back with 13 gears is almost all you need. Like, I've been a 1x advocate for so long, and this is my dream setup. To see this over and over and over again on people's bikes, it's less headache for the consumer, less things go wrong, better longevity, and you get a better chain line there as well. I think it's just the way of the future. You're gonna see, I think, more and more companies start making their lightweight frames with the UDH hanger on there, but the whole entire build of this, the Trek Madone Gen 8, this is Mads Peterson. Dude, I mean, the whole bike looks absolutely beautiful. I would love to see this set up on like the Konaga Y1RS. Obviously, you forgot to ride Shimano, but I think we're gonna see way more companies utilize that XPLR setup. But look at that setup for that freaking stem and bar. Really, really cool. They got the ISO Ussy. Number one, because he's a winner. And crank arm length is 172.5. I'd drop you so hard, Mads. I'd drop the shit out of you, bro. I ride 165. I'm just kidding. Also, they have this beautiful Canyon Aero Road CFR with the yellow decals. Obviously, a beautiful setup. Anything with team decals on here is nice. As a fan, I was always hoping that these are painted on, but obviously it makes sense that they're decals. But just the yellow stuff on here, the cranks, the shifters, the wheels, very, very cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out. This is at the SRAM booth here. They have a ton of products on showcase here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and check out. They just revamped their lineup for the Reverb. Also, they changed the battery position, so there's no more issues you have to worry about for the back of the seat. They put it to the front now, so your battery sits right here. They made the tube for the 34.9, 34.5, 34.9. They made the stanchion a little bit more robust because the 34.9 is a little bit more aimed towards the e-bike lineup. So with that, you're going to go ahead and have a seat post that's going to be a little bit better longevity, a little bit more robust, that can take the weight of that bike, so that way they're not getting damaged. I think RockShox has been in the market for a very long time with the wireless dropper post. They had a ton of feedback and a ton of knowledge with what happened with their older posts, and they went ahead and they changed those how they wanted to. Whereas Fox just released their new Neo post, but basically I was told that it's pretty much a Kashima coated transfer post that is just a regular with a battery on there. So the RockShox Reverb seat post, newly redone, battery placement different, thicker stanchion, a little bit more robust, and the e-bike setup. And they also have the widest range setup, I think, for all the posts. I think it's the biggest is 250 now, all the way down to, I think it's 70, I forget. But they have a ton of wide range developments there. So very cool, the new RockShox Reverb.